Shalom. Yahweh Basham, Yoshai Basham, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach us this word. Shalom. Salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad amongst the nation that look like the nation but are not of the nation. Shalom. This is Banaya with this one. Okay, I'll be playing a audio. So this is not my work. It's just for education purpose. Okay.
America is the history of rich white men telling not rich white people that their enemies are black and brown. It starts in the colonies of what would become the United States. Let's remember, during the colonial period, mid-1600s, there was no such thing as white people. I know some people who are now called white find that shocking, right? Because they think whiteness is real, right? But whiteness was created. Europeans didn't call themselves white. We didn't call ourselves white. We weren't all members of one big happy family. Are you kidding? Have you studied the history of Europe? The history of Europe was about killing each other. That's what we did in Europe. We just killed each other before we figured out there were other people to kill. We just killed each other, right? I mean, that was the history of Europe. The English hated the Irish, right? Northern Italians didn't even think that Southern Italians were Italians. The Germans hated everybody, and everybody hated their ass right back, right? There was no team called white, no race called white, but all of a sudden, in the middle of the 1600s, there was. Why? Why was it suddenly necessary to create this thing called the white race? Well, because rich people can count, that's why. And so rich folks looked around, the ones that owned all the land, you know, in the colonies, the colonial elite looked around and they realized something, that they were heavily outnumbered by African enslaved folks, by European indentured servants, who were just one level above a slave, or other Europeans who weren't technically indentured servants, but they were still peasants, didn't have any money, didn't have any land, and they could do the math. They add.
History has never just.
Okay, so that and that.
1600s, there was no such thing as.
Find it for yourself. So now I'll go in the scriptures. Okay, Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Another one is Job. Job 15 and 6. 15 and 6. 15. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, thine own lips testify against thee. Proverbs 12 and 13. The wicked is snared by the transgression of his lips, but the just shall come out of trouble. Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Basham, Yoshai Basham, Rakakadash.